The Divine Mother, side by side with the Divine Father, has the equal sharing of equal rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Susa Young Gates.
Welcome back to the In Her Image podcast. We are so excited to have you here. I am your host, Jess Burdett, and in this podcast, we seek and celebrate our Mother God through scripture, scholarship, the arts, and everyday life. I am not joined by Kate today, but we have an amazing guest. She and I have become good friends this year, which I am really happy about because this woman just inspires me so much. I got to meet her in person a couple months ago and was just so inspired by how embodied she is. She was just like the most beautiful woman and just confident and so full of love. And I felt very privileged to get to meet her. She is a photographer. She has a wonderful Instagram account that we'll get to hear a little bit more about. And she lives in Idaho. So welcome, Jolyn. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Jess. This is a very big privilege, for sure.
Well, for me too. So Jolyn Laney, I should have said your last name too. You have 2 Instagram accounts. So why don't you tell us what those accounts are and what made you want to start your account that discusses the priesthood?
So I have a photography business. So I have a photography account. I just photograph families and focus on their relationships and don't pose them. And it's the most beautiful passion in the whole world. But my priesthood one is called The Familial Priesthood with periods in between. And I kind of felt drawn to start it because the prophet asked us women to focus on the priesthood. And I was like, you know what? It's time. So my patriarchal blessing actually mentions that I'm supposed to learn as much as I can about the patriarchal order. And I thought that was a very random thing to have in my blessing. And when I was 16, there was not really information about the patriarchal order. I had no idea what that even was or what it entailed. And so, I did Yahoo searches and tried to figure things out because I knew it was important and I wanted to try, but I didn't really get a lot of information. And then the prophet asked us to learn about the priesthood as women, and I was like, okay, this is the kick in the pants that I have. And all of a sudden, there are so many resources out to learn more about it, and I decided to deep dive and make it kind of an accountability thing for myself to keep learning and keep studying and try to learn as much as I can, like it says in my blessing. So it's been really fun. It's a really cool journey, and it's benefited a lot of people. I've had a lot of DMs and comments, and there's really great conversation in all the comments. And so yeah, it's benefiting people. And if that's all this does, that's great.
That's amazing. So what have you learned? What can you share with us about what you've discovered about this patriarchal order?
Well, so when I first studied it, I was like, okay, it's this order of the priesthood, like not organizing things order, like an organization order. And so I was like, okay, so we enter into that through the new and everlasting covenant. Okay, through marriage. Got it. But there were so many little aspects of that I was like, oh, but it can also be this is the patriarchal order, and also this, and it's the family government, and it's handed things down from father to son and mother to daughter, and, through the generations. And so it was all these little aspects that I was like, oh, I had no idea that it was more than just the marriage covenant. Like, there were so many layers to it.
That's exciting. It's like this little hunt for information, hunt for truth.
I know there's way more to it than I initially could find. So it is fun to piece it all together and try to have a comprehensive view of it.
Yes. So this is an order of the priesthood, correct? We're talking about the patriarchal or familial order of the priesthood.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it's called the patriarchal order because patriarchy has such a negative connotation and it's just itchy a lot of times now. So,
yeah.
But so many apostles have said, like, it really shouldn't be called that, but that's kind of what it was called because we are in a patriarchal society. They were back then, like, everything, like, the man is the head of the household, you know, father to son, inheritance, all of that kind of stuff. So that's why it's called patriarchal. But it can only be a thing with a man and a woman equal together. So that's why I've changed it to familial priesthood. And Barbara Morgan Gardner, in her book, The Priesthood Power of Women, changes it to familial priesthood as well. So that was a really good resource for me to learn because pretty much the whole book was about the priesthood and how women are part of it and how we fit. A lot of the time, I mean, for my whole life, the priesthood has been what governs the church institution. And I don't have it. So why do I care? Why should I learn about it? I just need to find a priesthood holder to marry. End of story. And I taught this to my young women. I'm a young women's president. The priesthood is God's power. The priesthood is God's power given to mankind. And then within that, there's the hierarchical priesthood, which is what we typically know. It's ordination, hierarchy, it's keys, it's checks and balances, kind of, who presides, who is in charge of everything, and where the authority comes from. All of that is part of the hierarchical priesthood. But no one talks about the patriarchal or familial priesthood aspect. But that is the basic form of government in the family, is the family. That is how we are going to be set up in the eternities. That's how we were set up as a church all the way until Christ came. It was families. It was couples. They did not have the hierarchy that we have now. But Christ had to create some kind of structure that matched society with checks and balances and who's over this. And so that's when the hierarchical priesthood started. But Joseph Smith brought back the patriarchal aspect too. So now we have both.
Interesting. So it's kind of like Christ, just to like clarify, see if I'm getting this, Christ instituted this hierarchical priesthood in his day because that's how people did things. Like that's what they knew. That's the kind of system that they could comprehend. And then the familial priesthood, while you do have this priesthood being passed from father to son, anciently, like when we look at the prophets of the Bible, it does feel familiar. Not familiar. Familiar. Because we as women in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, when we go to the temple, we see women performing ordinances.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we as women hold the priesthood innately. Like it didn't have to be ordained or given any priesthood in order to officiate in certain practices in the temple. And so that's just an interesting concept for me to ponder at right now, because when I think about like what I've learned about the masculine way versus the feminine way, the feminine is more communal. Like it's not about hierarchy and who's in charge, right? Like referencing our friend Emily Carolyn Baker, who I feel like I reference every week now. She talks about how the feminine is about taking the ladder that the masculine focuses on and flipping it on its side so that everybody is equal and everybody is given opportunities to use their talents.
Yeah, the hierarchical priesthood is the scaffolding. It's like, we need this box to work with, or else we would just go all over the place. There'd be no rhyme or reason. So it does have a purpose, but we also need to make sure we understand that it is very different in the home. Priesthood functions differently at church and at home. And one of my most popular posts is a quote I shared by M. Russell Ballard. And I feel like they talked about this in last conference as well. So I'm going to say the quote. Although the church plays a pivotal role in proclaiming, announcing, and administering the necessary ordinances of salvation and exaltation, all of that, as important as it is really just the scaffolding. So this is the hierarchical priesthood he's talking about. It's really just the scaffolding being used in an infinite and eternal construction project to build, support, and strengthen the family. And just as scaffolding is eventually taken down and put away to reveal the final completed building, so too will the mortal administrative functions of the church eventually fade as the eternal family comes fully into view. So we have to remember that this piece is just an earthly thing. It's not a forever thing. Like, there is not going to be a bishop when you die. There's not going to be any of that stuff. It's going to be husband and wife as a couple, as a government, equal, governing their posterity and family and creating that beautiful eternal family that we all want.
Wow. Something else that came to my mind when you were talking about Christ's Day and him implementing this system, I also remembered an episode that we did with Dan McClellan back several months ago, where he talked about that Christ actually called females to do his work as well, like a female apostle, Unia, and that there were female deacons in his day, and some of the names had been changed or pronouns changed because editors of the Bible did not like that.
No.
So if you're interested in hearing some more about women being involved in the hierarchical priesthood, go check out that episode. But I love this concept too of the scaffolding and what the scaffolding is for. It helps me to think about things in this way as constructs, right? Or like being a vehicle. A vehicle is cool, but its purpose, it's not made just to look pretty. Like, it has a purpose. It's supposed to take you somewhere. And that's how I think of the scaffolding. And I think the church too has been talked about that way. The church itself is scaffolding.
It's a boat. Stay in the boat, everybody. No, I want to get to the island the boat is taking me to.
Right.
Like, the boat is the instrument. The boat is like great, and it saves people from drowning, gives us rest, gives us protection, but I don't want to live on a boat forever.
No.
At some point, we need to disembark from the boat and enjoy the rest of our life. So that's what will happen in the eternities.
Beautiful.
So I think there's been a lot of good push recently from the leadership about unity and marriage and equality, and it is different. It is not supposed to be president and vice president, like Elder Suarez said. There is supposed to be this side-by-side, shoulder-to-shoulder equality in the marriage relationship, which is the pattern of Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother. They are equal. We have so many quotes about their equality and their sharing of power and attributes, and they're both have godhood. So it is not supposed to be hierarchical like the church is. It is supposed to be different.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
So a lot of the time with the mother, we're like, there's not that much we know. Like, that's what everyone says. And I think we know more about their unity than their separate responsibilities and roles. We know that I'm sure they both do different things and have different responsibilities, but help each other as equal partners, like the proclamation. Like, I'm sure they do. We don't know exactly who does what. But we do know they are equal and they are unified in purpose and in execution. It's really cool to think about them like kind of doing a family council and talking together and be like, okay, our beautiful daughter Jess, what are her strengths? What's she going through right now? Like, how can we help? And they bounce ideas off each other. And what angels can we send on errands to help her? Like, how can we be more present for her? All of that, I think, happens. That's the executive family council, the husband and wife talking about their kids and their needs and finding a way to execute that. So I love thinking about them spending their time individually, one-on-one, going through each one of us and sending angels on errands to support us.
I love that too. That is such a beautiful visual. And councils is something that we hear about in our theology, that councils is a heavenly principle. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty sound right there. And I was just thinking, before you're talking about councils, I was thinking about Heavenly Mother and Heavenly Father and how we don't know a lot of specifics about them. But as you're talking about the unity, I thought maybe they want us, maybe that's very intentional and purposeful, that what we do know about them is that they are united and equal and able, capable, all powerful. Yeah. Because when you look when you look at us as couples or just people here on earth, we are so unique and different, right? And we keep our personality. I'm pretty sure as far as we believe, we stay, your soul has its essence and you've always been you and you'll always be you. And so maybe our eternal life will look unique. And so maybe there's a reason that we don't know specific roles per se that father might do versus mother. Just like you look at the diversity in experience here on earth, all families look different, right? And so it's kind of dangerous to say the family is this way and it must only be this way and it will only ever be this way, because not all families are. Even like you mentioned, the proclamation, it says that it should be adapted to meet individual needs. So maybe they don't want us to know the specifics of their personalities or their roles, because they want us to feel very free to choose our roles and to figure out with our partner what each person's strengths are and what they want to do, and not be limited by, well, my mother does this, and so that's what I have to do too. So it's just kind of thinking about how beautiful it is that we don't know all that much.
And that we can co-create the experience here. And, who can actually remember to gather the family for prayer? Maybe they should be the one that does it. And maybe whoever is around the kids more can help teach them the gospel. And it doesn't have to be the beginning of your marriage. Sit down and decide. And that's how you set it up. Like, so many things play into it. And each day even could shift. Yeah. But like, if you have the same plan, the same values, the same end goal, and help each other as partners to get there, it doesn't matter who does what, because you're supporting each other and getting the family to that end goal.
Yes. It's exciting. It's exciting to think that we have so much agency in all of this. And the thought of co-creating our life, you know, our world, our experience is so much more exciting than having it all mapped out for you.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much more freedom than I think we realize. Just in agency in general and in family relationships. With blending families, actually today we talked about, the kids were like, well, why is our last name Laney? Because Mom, you're a Curtis. Why are we not Curtis Laney or Laney Curtis? And so we talked about some families choose that, some decide to hyphenate. Traditionally, the woman would take the man's last name, but you can choose. I could still be Jolyn Curtis, and Dad could still be Todd Laney, and we could just... They were like, well, what would our last name be? I was like, I don't know. It would be complicated. But we can choose. We can choose how to set up last names. And we can choose how to set up responsibilities and chores and our family values that are super important to us and what is okay in our family and what is not okay and all of that. And it's a really cool thing when we can do that with our partner.
Yes, and it builds that unity, having these experiences together where you choose together. It makes you distinct from others because you made this choice to do something unique. The last name thing reminded me of, we had some friends who, she kept her last name, he kept his last name when they got married, and when they had their first baby, they blended their last names together and created a new last name for the baby. And I just thought that was
That's amazing.
So cute. So there's a fun idea for you. But it's just a way to differentiate, right, from the rest of the world and say, this is our family culture, whatever those things may be for you, that you decide, we're going to do things this way and, strike out and start your own tradition or your own way of living. It's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to be creators and do that in the next life, we should use our agency and our decision-making capabilities to create our family and create the structure and responsibilities and personal individualized roles for everybody. We don't need to wait for Godhood 101 class when we die. We can start developing some of those things.
Yes.
Now.
May I be so bold to suggest maybe this is Godhood 101 class right now.
I love it. I love it. Because we know the traits of Godhood. We know that we are divine. And you have traits from your mom and your dad, physically and personality-wise. Of course we have stuff from them too, our heavenly parents. So
just makes sense.
Might as well develop them now. Now's the time.
Now is the time.
Our chance.
Isn't there a Book of Mormon prophet who would agree with you? Mm-hmm. This life is the time for a woman to prepare.
Yes. Back to the good, her scriptures changing stuff.
Oh, yes.
I love
it. I always come back to that. So you started your account looking at the patriarchal familial priesthood. When did Heavenly Mother come into the picture for you? Was that post creation of the account, or how did that happen?
It was pre-creation of the account. One of my friends wrote a song about Heavenly Mother and posted it on Facebook, and I hadn't kept up with her. She was in a ward in Texas for not that long, and we kind of crossed paths a little bit, and I hardly ever saw any of her posts, but I saw that one. And she'd written this beautiful song, and I was like, oh my gosh, she like has a relationship with Heavenly Mother. Like, I didn't think I could do that. I didn't know that was a possibility. And it's sad, but she exists. That's all I need for the longest time. There was no other yearning. But after that, like, the gate was open. I was like, yeah, this is a path you can take. And it's really cool. That just started my deep dive into Heavenly Mother. It's been almost 2 years. So I feel like a little baby. But I do feel like it's been this beautiful experience learning about her and having experiences that I know it was just her and me. I had a dream growing up about her, and then I didn't think about her anymore. And so it was just me and a bunch of sisters, didn't know who they were, and we were just sitting on our parents' bed, and she was just talking with us like a mom, like late night chats. And it was just super normal. And we were just giggling and kind of sleepover vibes. I've always kind of held on to that.
Oh, that is so sweet.
I can still picture a lot of it too. And I had a long, long time ago in childhood. So, but I think learning about her and realizing, oh, everything I know about Heavenly Father applies to Heavenly Mother. Like, he listens and answers my prayers. So she does too. Like, she's there on the line. He loves me. I want to return back to live with him. And I'm a daddy's girl. I love my dad. And my mom right now is one of my best friends too. So thinking that I had this eternal mother, that I was missing out on an opportunity to know her and include her in my life, and thinking about her being involved in things and giving me some of my traits that I have as a mother, as a friend, as a sister, as a woman, that those came from her. Like, I'm in her image. I am patterned after her, and I will be like her. Has opened up a whole different side of myself that has been really cool to experience.
I'm so glad that you saw that post that day and got to hear that song and that it started you on this path. I think it is just the perfect thing to enhance your study of the priesthood, right? Like, these go so well together, hand in hand.
Yeah. And it's her power. Like, she has that power too. It's not just all directed through the Father. She's very much given us her power. And I don't know, I feel like they have different qualities or characteristics or color to their specific power that they help us with. So I think it's fun to think about. And I just have decided for myself some of those, like, nuance to, that's from Father, that's from Mother. And it might not be true, but I think they're happy that I'm even trying to think about them and how I interact with them as their daughter. Yeah.
Yes.
It's cool to think about their marriage and who they are. I did a free write that I would love to read.
Please.
This was a time when I was just writing poems, and this one did not come out as a poem. It was just free-flowing thoughts. So, teach me how it's done. What's the eternal marriage pattern I am to follow? You do it hand in hand, side by side, shoulder to shoulder. You champion the other. You're in awe of their glory. It's all about building him up while he builds you up. You counsel together, listening, hearing, sharing, solving. Same goal, different approaches. Jesus, your son, the champion of women, was just doing what he sees his father do. You must be each other's biggest cheerleaders. You must take pride in watching the other flourish, learn, grow, and succeed. Father must love watching you shine. I bet he has an I'm with her shirt. Learning of you both, seeing you in an ideal relationship, it helps me. It helps me work on and love and find joy in mine. Yours is the pattern I follow.
Oh, I love that so much. I love the t-shirt part.
And I was just like, they're totally like letting each other do their thing and shine and celebrating. Like, oh, I love that flower you made, honey. That's the most beautiful thing. And then he would make something and she'd be like, oh my gosh, genius. Like, I don't know.
That's so cute.
There's not this like power struggle with them.
No, that is not something I can imagine being part of godhood. I also loved the part of Christ doing what he sees the Father do and how Christ was the champion of women. Oh, that was so good, Jolyn.
Yeah.
So good. It's like, where did he learn that from?
That one was, he must have known. Like, Jesus loved his mom. He did. We know that. But I think he had a good example of how a man should be with women. And showed us that. There's so many scriptures, you know, what you see me do is what the Father did or does. If you know me, you know the Father. And you also know the Mother, but part of it is, like, I love Jesus for everything he did for women and how different he was. So that makes me love Heavenly Father for valuing his daughters.
I have never thought of it that way, and that is so precious. Thank you so much for sharing that gem. And thank you for sharing your free write. I love the whole thing. I already want to go back and listen to it again. Well, Jolyn, the final question that we ask all our guests is, how has Heavenly Mother changed you?
I am so excited. She has made me bold. I have typically been very timid, and even my mom has been like, how are you brave enough to speak up about Heavenly Mother, to say her name over the pulpit, to push for a fireside for the young women? Like, how are you able to do that? I do not know. That is the one thing I am bold and confident about speaking about. And I think growing up with the Young Women's theme and saying divine nature and learning about it over and over, I mean, I was the daughter of a king. I had a father in heaven. And that was cool. I felt like a princess. But knowing the Mother, she has changed me to be a goddess. She has changed me to know that I'm like her. Or she's like me. Or the other way. Like, we are one and the same. We're cut from the same cloth. And I think that's where the boldness and confidence comes from, is from that knowledge of her.
And we're all blessed by it. So thank you for all that you share.
Yeah.
And your boldness.
It's a fun, I don't know, different stage in my life. Like, I'm in my 30s and it's a whole different ballgame than it was in my 20s. And I'm loving every minute of this confidence and transformation that I'm going through. So it's cool.
It's amazing. Well, I'm so grateful to know you. I'm grateful that you were willing to come on the podcast and share all these beautiful truths with us and these thoughts. Will you share one more time what your handles are for your photography and your Priesthood accounts so that people know where to find you?
Okay. The _Familial _Priesthood is the Priesthood account. And Jolyn.Laney photo is my photography account.
Thank you. So. If you are in Idaho and you need pictures taken, I highly recommend Jolyn. She took some photos of Kate and I when we got to meet her a couple months ago, and they are stunning. Like, I treasure those photos. So when we release this episode, we're going to have to post in our stories the pictures that Jolyn took of us, because they're our goddess photos, and they're just...
Yes. You guys are radiating. It was so fun.
Well, thank you for sharing your talents and for being here with me tonight.
Yes. Thank you so much. This has been a beautiful experience for me too.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to share it. And if you haven't yet, please leave us a review. If you'd like to support the podcast monetarily, you can make a monthly donation at anchor.fm/inherimage. We hope you'll tune in next Sunday for another inspiring episode.